Okay, let's try this again. I don't know why I can't control the camera. I guess that's good enough. I'm just going to let it fly. So what I want to do is just get a few chores done. And what I have to do is put my gloves on. I got some stuff from Africa I want to coat with Murphy's oil. So I want to do that. And I want to say hello to everybody. And I want to thank, I just crossed 2,000 subscribers about a week and a half ago. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing and watching my videos. So even though I'm not very active, you can still ask questions. You can still make comments. You could still like the streams and do all that good stuff. So these are the spears from Africa. And there's no finish on these mahogany handles. So I'm just going to put Murphy's oil on them. I've done this before, but I haven't done it in a while. And it's a very light protective finish. So you really should do it annually. So just get this done. I have the 3 spears. Okay, that's one. So I haven't been that active yet. I really haven't filmed much in front of the camera. I'm busy with a lot of things. But I do check all the messages and comments that are made on the channel. So if anybody has any questions or comments or input, please consider, even though I'm not putting up new content very often, please consider it an active channel, because I think that the two-way discussion, the exchange of ideas, the stimulation that we get from discussing whatever matters are important to us as craftsmen or home workers, these things are important. It's not a situation where it's only about what I'm doing and what my content is, because what you're doing is just as important. If you're making planes or working at home and my videos stimulate you to make part, to open up a discussion, feel free to do so. That's what this is all about. I consider my YouTube channel no different than being on Facebook or Twitter and just discussing things there. We're just discussing things on a video. Okay. Okay, so the spears are done. So by the way, a little history on the spears. If you could hear me while I'm speaking, the spears were part of my East Africa project, which you saw me make, and they were taken, I believe, from Kenya, from the Maasai tribe, and they were people that my uncle loved dearly. He was in Africa for 14 months. When he returned, he took those spears on a plane back to the United States as carry-on luggage. He boarded the aircraft with those spears, which tells you a little bit about what flying internationally was like a little more than a half a century ago. So, and he traded for them or purchased them, I'm not sure which, but they're tribal. They're very ceremonial. Those spears are important to the Maasai tribe, because when you're a boy and you reach maturity, which is about 13 years old, you have to take a lion to become a man. And two of the spears that I just worked on took lions. And they were my uncle's dearest possessions. I'm happy to have them. I'm happy to show them to you. And what happened was they were in a garage. The garage burned down and the handles were ruined. So when I received the spears, I replaced the handles. Those are not the original handles. Those handles were made out of mahogany, which I retrieved as scraps from a restaurant that I helped build a couple of years ago, about 10, 15 years ago. That's where I got the mahogany from. So I don't know, when I received the spears, the handles were basically just charcoal. I don't know what kind of wood it was. I saw them originally in the 70s. I saw them many times in my uncle's house, but I can't tell you what kind of wood it was. And I didn't bother saving them because they were a mess. So this is a carving. This is one of many carvings that he brought back from Africa. And I don't know what kind of wood this is, but I treat it with Murphy oil as well. And the only other thing I could tell you about this carving is that this was a carving my uncle chose to keep and not give away. And late in his life, I asked him how he decided to give away a carving and what he decided to keep. And what he told me was that all the ones that he really liked and really admired, he gave away, because he gave them away to his dear friends. And the stuff that he didn't like, he kept. And that's how this one remained and was not given away. So he was not very fond of this one. And so that's what it looks like. I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. I've never displayed it really. I have it in my bedroom, but it's just sitting on a shelf. So I'm not an expert on these types of things. So for all I know, this could be worth $1 million, and it wouldn't mean anything to me because I have no knowledge of what this is or exactly where it came from or who made it. but it's important to me because it was my uncle's. And it needs yearly care. This is the least I could do. So this has been in the United States since 1971. I don't know how old it was when he brought it here, but it's been in the United States for that long. So now I'm going to put this to the side. And I have one more piece. I'll show it to you before I apply the Murphy's oil to it. It's a carving. So I don't know what this is. This is a sort of a avant-garde freeform carving. It's a, I don't know what you would call it, an animal or a person or some sort of a species of non-human, whatever it is. I don't think he was very fond of this one, and that's why he never gave it away. And so here we are. I basically feel the same way about this one that I feel about the other one. I love it because it was his, and I don't have an opinion about whether it's a great carving or what other significance it has. To me, it's priceless because it was his. So it's got some cracks in it. You know, it's monolithic, so it's one piece. It's carved from a single piece of wood. So it's only natural that because of the way it's shaped, that as it ages, it dries out and it cracks. That's just what happens. I don't think that the people that were in the business of making these things 50 years ago had access to any sophisticated tools or drying or anything like that. This was probably done in somebody's front yard by a local worker and sold at a bazaar or some sort of a shop. This wasn't made for sale in a gallery or anything like that, or I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I'm just guessing. I don't think it was. All right, that's about it for this one. So this is the end of uh, my work with the Murphy's oil and the end of everything that I have from Africa. So the next thing I do around this time of the year is I have some Thompson's water seal, and I'm going to apply that to my homemade parallel clamps. Okay, so get rid of that. And start this. So the first one I want to do is the one that I built for the channel, and this one's never been coated, which probably is a little bit of an error on my part. I should have done that. So what I like about the Thompson's water seal is it protects the wood, but it's not a very heavy finish. Most of it soaks in, and then whatever doesn't soak in pretty much evaporates. So it's like a non-intrusive uh, preservative. So since so much of it soaks in, it doesn't really. It's not like a finish that you could. It's going to chip or get scratched. You'll scratch the wood before you scratch the finish because it's just soaking in. So that's what I like about it, and it keeps this. It keeps the clamps from getting all scuffed up and smudged from fingerprints and glue and all the stuff that might happen when you're actually using them. So that's why I like it. So the way I chose this was I have the Jorgensen clamps that I bought a long time ago, and I think that that has a very light finish on it. That's not like a shellac or a varnish. It's a similar preservative coating. And so I said, what can I use that would be similar to that? And what I came up with was Thompson's Water Seal. So yesterday I sanded these. I took off all the smudge marks, rounded the corners, dialed them up a little bit. They're looking pretty good. This one's already 4 or 5 years old. Whenever it was I built it. It's an easy way to date how old it is. So it's fine. It's holding up. But it's looking even better now that it's got this coating on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the side, hit the other 4 that I've made, and then I'm going to come back to this one. And hopefully a little bit of this soaks in. This does have a little bit of an odor to it, so I'm going to move these outside. Today's a nice day. As soon as I'm done with these, I'll move them outside. But it's not a really bad odor. It's just really dry real good. I might even coat this one again at the end of the day. This is just raw wood. This is being pulled right in. So I'll put this to the side. These are really handy clamps. I'm glad I made them. They're not world class, you know. The ones that I bought years ago, the ones that Jorgensen makes, they're great. You know, if I had to live the rest of my life using one clamp, that's the clamp that I would choose. But these are handy. These are just when you need one. You know, for what these are, which is just handmade. Let's face it, they're homemade. They're pretty darn good, and it makes the whole experience worthwhile. Just to be able to pick this up. And use it. So I have 4 of the store-bought ones that I bought in the early 80s. If I only need 4 clamps, those are the first 4 clamps I pick up. If I need 5 clamps, I go to these. And they're very nice to have. They're effective. They're good projects. They don't really require a lot of lumber. This is all stuff that, you know, I scrounged from the curb and dried myself. So the threaded rod I got from, you know, dumpsters. So like I spent money on the caps and the nuts and the washers and stuff like that. So maybe each clamp cost me $3 to build, besides the time. It's not like there's a huge investment. All right, chat's quiet, so I'm just talking to myself. That's fine. There's always something else on YouTube that you could be watching. Plenty of content, plenty of stimulation. And if you're not looking for stimulation, there's always cat videos and birds and makeup videos, whatever floats your boat. They say there's like 800 million people use YouTube every day. You're not watching my channel, I can tell you that. So, but that's fine. Something for everybody. So, as far as analytics are concerned, my analytics tell me that there are no females that watch my channel. So what does that mean? That means that when my friend's sister joined my channel as a subscriber, she broke the algorithm. And it still says that there are no females, that I have no female subscribers, but I know for a fact that there is one. And I thank her for possibly being my only female subscriber. But that's fine. That doesn't offend me, doesn't mean anything. It just means that there are people busy doing other things. And I hope they're busy having fun, whatever it is they're doing. They should be stimulating themselves, being creative, and having fun. But if they are watching my channel, that's good too. So this one's been coated, I think, 4 times. You can see how much darker it is than this one. And that's basically how I start off. So not only is it a very light finish, but it kind of gives the maple a little bit of character without it being really a stain or a varnish or anything like that. So I'll hit this one again. I might hit it again later. There's a little bit of drying time involved, whatever the instructions are, 24 hours, 48 hours. This is really not a deck, so I'm not really worried about following the directions or anything. It's not that critical. But this is just getting pulled right in. So I was thinking the other day, I don't watch any woodworking channels for a number of reasons. Probably the most important reason is I don't let them influence me, so that my ideas that I have for my channel are kind of independent of anything else that I'm seeing on YouTube. So I don't watch any other channels. But there are channels that I do watch. They're just not woodworking channels. So which channels are they? I watch Keith Rucker. I think he has a great channel. I really like his projects. I really like his style. The old equipment, the whole thing, I think is just, he's doing a great thing. And he's done some collaborations, and I find those very interesting. I watch the channels that are, I watch the Samson Boat Company doing the tally-ho boat. I watched that for a couple of years. I watched the people out of Massachusetts. What was that? Acorn? I forget what it is. Something to Acorn, whatever the name of that channel was. The sailing boat that they built off the coast of Massachusetts. I watched them for a long time. And the only one that I really watch right now, because those other ones, those projects are complete. I'm really not active too much with those. Is the fellow who's a machinist in Australia, Cutting Edge Engineering, I think it's called. I really get a kick out of that channel. I also like the format of that they tend to do multi-part projects, and they tend to do, like, they're not afraid of doing 30, 40, 50-minute videos. So, and that fellow is quite talented, in my opinion. And I also really like the camera work. It's a husband and wife team, as far as I know. The woman is operating the camera. I don't know who's doing the editing, but I really like their style of how they present his work. So now you have 2 elements that I like on that channel: the content, the actual work that fellow is doing, and then the filming and the editing and the presentation is very, very nice. For me, I'm very comfortable watching that. And I don't know anything about machining. It's not my thing. But I get a big kick out of it. So this is done. Let me get rid of this and go on to the final thing that I have to do. And the final thing that I have to do is I have to epoxy some things together. So this is just going to take a second, really. Take me longer to set up than it will be to do the work. So what I have here is a brand new bottle brush for the kitchen sink to get into glasses and stuff like that. And what I did was I cut the handle off, and I'm going to extend it, customize it with this piece of PVC tubing. And what I need to do is be able to clean a bottle that's very large, making wine. In fact, that's what took up a lot of my time last year. In 2024, I made about 15 gallons of wine right here in my area. And so I plan on making at least that much this year, and I'm going to up my game a little bit. So I was gifted some of those large 5-gallon containers. They're made out of glass, and you use them for water in like an office with the dispenser. You got to flip the thing upside down. I have 3 of those, and they have to be cleaned. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to make a custom brush to clean those bottles. So let's see what we got here. This is going to be poked. So I've been making wine on and off since I think about 1974. I made it a bunch of times in the 70s, and then I started making it again about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And I never made that much. I used to make like a gallon of it at a time, 1 gallon a year, if I was lucky. And last year, I just went to town, and I made like 15 gallons. So it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. It really, really is. Oh, and I'm making vinegar too, but I'm not making that much. Not in those containers. You don't need to that level of that condition of sanitary condition. It doesn't have to exist to the extent when you make wine as it would be for vinegar. So let's see. That should do it. All right, my chores are done for today. Thank you everyone for joining me. If you're watching later, hello, and I hope we see each other soon. And in the meantime, stay strong, everybody. There's always a lot of work to do, and it's people like us that are going to get it done. Thank you.